families, several generations are now living inside of the same home. So in this week's Happier at Home with Deb Bernacki, we're talking about home remodeling to help our seniors feel safer and more comfortable. Deb, thank you so much for joining this morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. You know, this is interesting that we're talking about this because my mom and I were just talking about, they just moved to a two-story house from a one-story, and she's nervous. She said, I don't know if I can live in this house for very long because it's just one or two stories. And so I think a lot of people are having to learn how to adapt in their own homes or in their loved ones' homes. So what are some basic guidelines that can be implemented just to make things a little easier for our loved ones as they do get older and have a little bit of a harder time getting around?
Yeah, I hear this all of the time. Families moving in with their younger generations, families being concerned that maybe making modifications to their home would reduce the value of their home. If we think about this early on, maybe in the stages of development of your home, that this does not have to be something that reduces the value of your home. Something like universal design takes into consideration the aging of our family, and it also accommodates people of all ages. So you can have people that are 6 foot tall and deaf, and those that are maybe that have impaired mobility and in a wheelchair, living in the same environment and having some of these adaptations and functional changes that would be able to live in the same environment very comfortably. So when we think about things like that, you could consider maybe some adaptations that would accommodate people that have some visual impairments, like the light switches that are lit, making sure that you have grab bars, going into each of your rooms and looking at what would be easiest for each of those family members to access that or be able to use that environment in a safe and comfortable way.
And Deb, I know I just bought a home not that long ago when I moved here, and the family who had it before me had an elderly father living with them. And they had easily switched out the handle on the toilet, so it's an automatic flushing because he was in a wheelchair and wasn't able to maneuver as well. And it's been great for us. We learned to use it easily, and I think it was just basically a kind of a quick switch out. So there are things that you can use with what you already have to just make it easier for maybe an elderly loved one living in the home. We also know that for showers, they can be slippery. So talk about some ways maybe to make it easier to shower and make it safer as well.
Yes, there are. There's showers that you could get with that are very easy to get into, so very low profile lip to it, or even bathtubs that have the door that opens so you could walk into it. Definitely the grab bars, as I've mentioned, but also looking at widening doorways to make sure that they're at least 36 inches wide. But Chris, also to mention very easy fixes, door handles, and instead of having the doorknobs, having levered door handles.
Yeah.
So those are easier for people that have impaired grip function on their hands to be able to open things like that. And thinking about the functionality of your kitchen, instead of putting dishes up in the top cabinets, put them on the lower shelves, so they're accessible that way. Thinking about looking at, there's actually dishwashers that have drawers, so you don't have to have the door that swings open.
Yeah,
and same with ovens.
Tips. Yeah, thank you so much, Deb. We have to go, but we appreciate all of those. I know a lot of families coming together and maybe choosing to come out of a nursing home to go ahead and be home. So these are great tips, and we appreciate it as always. And we'll see you next week.
Great.
Hope you have a great Thanksgiving.